Thank you, and we will continue now and ask Tempe Mayor, reintroduce Tempe Mayor Mark Mitchell, and ask Coach Mark Dantonio to join him in front of the trophy for a brief presentation.
Coach Dantonio, welcome to Tempe and the Valley of the Sun. We're very proud that you're in the bowl game this year. Look forward to a great time, and we have a great, rich tradition in Tempe regarding college sports. We've had 3 national championships here, and we're proud to be partnering with the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, and we look forward to a great game on Saturday. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Good luck.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, again, for those who've joined us, please mute or turn off your cell phones. And we are streaming live on buffalowildwings.org. So we ask you, when we get to the questions, to please let us get a microphone to you to ask. And please identify yourself. Coach, a few opening comments, and we'll go to questions.
Sure. As I said yesterday, very excited here to be at the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl with an opportunity to play against TCU. Great challenge for us. Our players have had a tremendous time. First-rate bowl game. Facilities have been outstanding, both the hotel and the way we've been accommodated. And now it's time to get down to business. So, we're looking forward to the opportunity tomorrow and the challenge that lays ahead. And I'll take some questions.
Questions for Coach? Go in the front to the right.
Mark, can you please, Hondo Carpenter, Spartan Nation, can you please talk about your defensive backfield health condition, and not specific, just what you feel? Do you think you're going to have everybody, and will it be 100%?
Well, I said yesterday, I made the statement yesterday, probably Johnny Adams is the one guy who may be doubtful, due to a foot injury. But, I guess things can happen. But, I think everybody else will be okay, and we're looking forward to having everybody other than Johnny. And with that being said, Mitchell White will play, Trey Waynes, and then Tony Lippett started 3 games for us and played the whole year on defense last year. So, Tony Lippett will be an opportunity for him to get involved as well.
Questions for Coach Dantonio? Second row?
Yeah.
On the aisle.
Thank you. Joe Rexrow, Detroit Free Press. Mark, these 2 defensive ends, I know a lot is made of Fields, but I know they're very good all the way up front. Is this the toughest defensive front in terms of pass rush you've seen this season?
Well, I think they're extremely active players. Statistically, they're very, very good as well. With Fields I think he's got 9.5 sacks. Very athletic. The thing that's most impressive about TCU, I think, defensively, when you look at them, is their longevity in terms of playing great defense. That comes from structure. That comes from attention to detail. That's coaching. Coach Patterson has had that reputation for a long, long time, and I think they're just the next people. They're next people up. So they've had athletic guys in the past. Very, very good players, including their defensive tackles, which are young. They're a young football team, and that's what's impressive as well. Outstanding on defense. They run, they play with power, they transition very well. So they're a little bit readers versus the run, but then when it becomes third down or pass situations, they turn into a little bit more attack pass rushers. The thing that's most impressive to me is their ability to change direction and transition from the run game to the pass game and pressure you, and they can run you down.
Questions? We have one in the front row to the left.
Stephen Stevenson, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Coach, does it make it harder to study a team with so many young players that they're not set in stone yet, the way they play from game to game?
Well, you see them, when you look at them early in the year, they have a couple different people playing. Their offensive line is, they have a couple, of a young freshman playing that maybe wasn't playing earlier in the year as much. So you see, again, transition from that football team at the beginning of the year to the end of the year, and you see different players beginning to play. And as you just said, they're younger players, so you see them a little bit more in and out initially, and then as the season progresses, you see them more standard players. But they're a good football team. Impressive to me is they have a quarterback that can make things happen. Wide receivers are extremely talented. I'm very impressed with their running backs. Offensive line is athletic. Defensively, skill sets very, very good. The corners are are very well. I think they're extremely well coached, very well disciplined on the defensive side of the ball, and they tackle in space well. They play the ball and run. And I think that's what makes up a good football team usually.
More questions for Coach Dantonio. In the back, to the left.
Fred Human, WLNS in Lansing. Mark, with the way their defense and your defense has shaped up this year, do you feel in a sense you're playing Michigan State?
No, I really don't. I've never really thought of it like that. Because they're a little bit, there are some similarities in some of the things that they do, but they're different as well. So it's not a carbon copy. They've played different teams. We've played different teams. I think what you have seen, if you want to make a comparison, is you've seen us play pretty well defensively in the last 3 years, and I think that they've got a long-standing tradition, I think, of being very, very good on defense as well. So that may be there may be some similarities there, but and there's some carryover, but I don't look at them and say, well, that's just like us. But they are built on defense. He is a defensive head coach. He's involved heavily on the defensive side of the ball, and so there are some similarities in that respect, I guess.
More questions for Coach. In the back, on the aisle. Please identify yourself.
Matt Charbonneau, Detroit News. Mark, Gary mentioned that through the years watching you coach and all the trick plays and stuff you've pulled over the years, but is this year a little bit different in the bowl game, considering the offensive issues you had this year? Has the focus been more on just kind of to get that offense on track, and not so much some of the other things you might do?
Well, you know, I think I said this yesterday as well. I think when you look at our football team, there's a little bit of a mystery there in some aspects. You know, we're even in the turnover margin. We're sitting right at 0. So we've turned the ball over a little bit, but not overly more than we've gotten it. We've got the leading rusher in the Big Ten Conference if you take away the championship game, but yet we're not scoring as many points. So, you know, we have moved the ball. Our wide receivers are I think they're coming. I think our wide receivers have improved greatly since the beginning of the year. I think our quarterback situation was inexperienced initially, but we certainly have more experience now. And our offensive line, because of the injuries that occurred early in the season, was much younger now. But I think you look at Skylar Berkeley, and he's playing much more effectively. The bowl practices have helped us, and we're going to see what happens tomorrow. But there's no question we need to score more points. I think that goes without saying. But what we do and who we are, there has to be a foundation there with that as you move throughout the season. There's a foundation you try and build on and you try and improve on. But I think offensively, we just need to score more points. We get down in the red zone, we're kicking too many field goals. When you look at it, I think we've attempted over 30 field goals, and that's a lot in a 12-game schedule.
Hondo Carpenter, Spartan Nation. Mark, who has stood out in these bowl practices, young men that you think have really helped themselves in their future?
In their future, you got to look at some guys, to me, like Demetrius Cox. He's not playing this week. But, some of our younger freshmen like Riley Bula, those guys have, really stepped forward. I think Jack Conklin is a guy that you see athletic ability, big guy. The guys who are playing that I think have really helped themselves, L.T. Thomas is going to see him play. He's going to be an outstanding football player for us. He could play either side for us. I think Hammock is a guy that moved positions, and, he's going to be a good football player. He's a good football player. And it's just a matter of finding a place for him on the field. Our wide receiver skill set, obviously, you have Aaron Burbage, who's a tremendous freshman, but he's allowed to, take it down a notch and then rebuild from every single week, having to change things up, and that's tough for a freshman. When you change things up and you have 2 days, 3 days to prepare, now we've got more time to prepare. He should know exactly what's going on. I also think DeAnthony Arnett's played much better this bowl practices, catching the ball much more effectively. He's he's got great burst and speed. So those are some of the guys that have really, I think, caught my eye. On the defensive side of the ball, we pretty much play our guys. We've got a lot of guys that have played, but so I don't see any change there. We've got a lot of young players, but we're essentially a junior-dominated probably team or younger.
To the aisle.
Coach Mike Griffith from MLive.com. Jeremy Langford's a guy that's moved around a little bit. Can you talk about what you've seen from him and what you see in his future?
Yeah, Jeremy's playing on a lot of special teams for us. He's a guy that, because he sits behind Le'Veon, he's a guy that sort of, we try and move over here, we try and move over there, we try to find a position because he's a very good athlete. I think tailback's his natural position, so he's sitting and being patient. But, if he gets an opportunity, if he gets a crease, he can go the distance. But he needs to be a little firmer in between the tackles. But, he's getting bigger and stronger as he grows. And, he's 205 pounds now, where, before he's a 195-pound tailback. So as he's coming, he's got a couple, really 2 years left beyond. So there's good things in store for Jeremy Langford as he continues to improve. And he's gonna be a guy next year that people are going to have to deal with. We'll see this year. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. But he's been impressive. He can run, play. He's a good football player.
Questions for Coach? Back to the aisle.
Oh, thanks. On the young guy thing, what about Nick Tompkins? How is he looking? Is that, regardless of Le'Veon, do you think that he can maybe give you that speed element that you lacked at times this season?
Well, he's a redshirt freshman, and we're going to continue redshirting him. So, I think that's a question for the spring, basically. Some of these questions are got to be answered maybe more in the spring, because we've seen him on scout team. And he's not, Cox, he's traveled with us and worked with us the entire year. Cox is functional. He could play tomorrow. We won't take the red shirt off of him.
Any more questions for Coach Dantonio? In the back, to the left. And
Red Human WLNS again. Since you dropped that line about our offense needs to change with the times, there's maybe been some overreaction, some making it sound like Maxwell's going to be our G3 tomorrow night.
Yeah.
But are there, without being specific, are there tweaks you've made that we'll notice tomorrow, or is that more for the future?
Well, I guess we'll have to wait till tomorrow. Can't let the cat out of the bag, Fred. But, there's always things you mess around with. But, whether things come to fruition or not, that's game time decisions.
back to the aisle.
Yeah, Coach, do you ever send staff members to other programs or to NFL clubs to observe what's going on? Coach Patterson was talking today about watching a lot of the things that you've done, and I asked him about an exchange of coaches visiting. I've seen that at other schools. Have you done that, or do you have plans to do that?
Yeah, we constantly do that. We've constantly go and see people offensively or defensively or even special teams, whether it's on the NFL level or college level, and that's part of the critique process that we go about in the off season, really from whether it's in March or whether it's in May or whether it's in June. We take opportunities to do that, and usually we'll pinpoint various programs and go visit. As a matter of fact, TCU was one of the places that we were going to go visit. We just got short on time, but I guess we should have made that decision and gone a year and a half ago. But such is life.
Stephen Stevenson, Fort Worth Star Telegram. Coach, after studying TCU, what would be the one thing that you would pick as the thing that you appreciate most about how TCU plays as a coach?
Well, again, if you look at, that's where I think things are similar. I think they play extremely hard and they play with toughness. And that's all I've ever asked our football team to do. Know what to do, play with great effort, play with great toughness. And I see that in their football team. They don't flinch. They play up. They overachieve. And I think at every level you have to overachieve if you're going to be truly great. And you see that. You see guys not taking plays off. You see them. They're extremely disciplined football team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think offenses, they create sometimes. Their quarterback creates. So they have a plan, they have a function, but, he's going to create some plays. But when you look at them defensively, when you look at them special teams, they are who they are. They do what they do, and they do it very well. And I think, as a coach, you respect a lot of that.
Back to the aisle, to the right.
Matt Charbonneau, Detroit News. Coach, I'm just curious, with a regular season that didn't exactly go how you guys had hoped, where's the mental approach or the focus of this team, not only since you've been here, but in the last couple of weeks? Has it been as sharp as you would expect?
Yeah, I think our football team has been sharp. I feel when you watch our practices and when you watch the intensity which they've come to practice with and worked, and we did a lot of live situations early on, and there's a catch-22 with that, but we felt like we had to play football and tackle in space and do some of the things we had to do. So we did a lot of live work, as I mentioned earlier. We're ready to go. Our players know what's at stake every time they step on the football field. Their reputation as a football player and as a football team is on the line every time you step on the field. And you better be up for the challenge. If you're not, you're going backwards.
Any final questions for Coach? Any more? Thank you, Coach.
All good, guys. Thank you very much. Go Green.
I will remind the photographers before we break, if you haven't initiated frequency coordination, please do so. You can do it online, or you can come into the Peace Pipe room and ask how to initiate that. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.